Hi students, today our topic is congestive cardiac failure. Okay, if you see here, this congestive cardiac failure is also known as congestive heart failure or simply heart failure. Okay, what do you mean by heart failure? Heart failure means it is nothing but the name itself, it defines that heart is failed, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that the heart function is stopped completely, but it means that the normal functioning of the heart is becoming weaker. Day by day it becomes weak than the normal, means the pumping capacity of the heart will become weak, means it becomes decreased than the normal heart. So that is the meaning of the heart failure. Okay, if we see what happens in this heart failure means, we already know that the blood moves through the heart and body at a particular rate, but in case of heart failure, this movement of the blood through this heart will become at a slow rate, and due to this it results, and as a result there is an increased pressure in the heart. So because of this we can see enough oxygen is not pumping to the heart, means the required quantity of the oxygen is not supplied to the heart. Okay, generally what's the definition of the heart failure means? It is a syndrome which develops when what is this syndrome means? It will develop when heart cannot maintain an adequate cardiac output. We already know that the word meaning cardiac output means if the heart is unable to maintain the cardiac output, it is known as heart failure. Means when the heart pumps blood inadequately, it leads to the reduced blood flow. Means pumping of the heart is, when it is inadequate, then it results in the reduced blood flow, means decreased blood flow. And when there is a reduced blood flow, we can observe that the backup of the blood in the veins, means we can see that congestion, means there is a backup of the blood in the veins and lungs, and we can also see in other we can also observe the other changes which results in the weakening of the heart. Okay, if you see here, this heart failure is divided into two types: right sided heart failure and left sided heart failure, and it can be of either diastolic heart failure and systolic heart failure. Diastolic means nothing but it is the inability to relax, and systolic heart failure means nothing but there is it is inability to contract. Okay, what is right sided heart failure means? If we see here, this right sided heart failure means, in this, listen carefully, in this right sided heart failure we know that the right ventricles, this right ventricle loses its pumping function, means the pumping capacity of the right ventricle is completely loosened, and the blood may back up into the other areas of the body which produces the congestion. Is it clear? So the right ventricle loses its pumping function and the blood may back up into the other areas of the body which producing the congestion. We call that as a right sided heart failure. Okay, what about left sided heart failure? If you see this left sided heart failure, in this this is due to inability of the left heart to maintain its circulating load. Means, is it clear? Right side is due to failure of the right ventricle, means pumping function is failed. In case of left failure, there is an inability of the left heart to maintain its circulatory load, which is in correspondence to the pulmonary circulation. So we call this left sided heart failure as a cor pulmonale, means it is one of the condition. So what is it condition means? The pressure, there is an increased pressure in the pulmonary circulation which usually leads to the pulmonary congestion, and gradually it leads to the edema, means formation of the fluids. So this is about the left sided heart failure. Okay, finally the next one is a diastolic heart failure. What is the diastolic heart failure? This diastolic dysfunction refers to the abnormality, means how the heart fills with blood during diastole. We know that diastole and systole. So filling of the blood in the heart during the diastole is, if we observe any abnormality in this process, this that we called as a diastolic dysfunction. Means here the heart muscles do not relax in normal manner, means usually in normal condition, and the heart may fill too slowly, means the filling capacity of the heart will become too slow and with an elevation in the pressure. Okay, what do we mean by systolic heart failure? Means it means that there is this left ventricle loses its ability to contract normally. Diastolic means relaxation, systolic means completely about the contraction. So the heart cannot pump with enough force to push the enough blood into the circulation. Means pumping capacity, means heart capacity is not enough to force the blood into the circulation. This is about the systolic heart failure. Okay, what about the causes? The next one is causes. That is nothing but coronary artery disease. We already know that CAD means which is a disease of the arteries, where it can supply the blood and oxygen to the heart, and it can causes the decreased blood flow to the heart muscles. So this is about the coronary artery disease. And heart attack, we know that it occurs when this heart attack occurs when a coronary artery becomes suddenly blocked, and there we can see a stopping of the blood flow to the heart muscles. Means this heart attack damages the heart muscles, which resulting in the improper functioning of the heart. And the next one is cardiomyopathy. Means it is nothing but a damage to the heart muscles, and we can also see the increased BP, thyroid, diabetes mellitus, and other valvular diseases. These also are other causes of the congestive heart failure. Okay, if we go for the risk factors, what are the risk factors of the congestive heart failure? Means, as I told that one of the main cause, that is coronary artery disease, and other heart related diseases like myocardial infarction, hypertension, diabetes, heart valve disease, smoking, obesity. And other than obesity, if a patient is having any previous heart attack or congenital heart defects, cardiomyopathy, infection of the heart muscles, or conduction defects, or large amount of salt intake, it is nothing but high blood pressure. These are all the other risk factors of the heart failure. Okay, so for if we go for the pathophysiology, the main mechanism it involves in the congestive cardiac failure is renin-angiotensin system, where we can see this renin and angiotensinogen. Here angiotensin 1 is converted to angiotensin 2, and we can observe this peripheral vasoconstriction. The main mechanism is completely depends on the constriction. So we can observe the peripheral vasoconstriction, and it gradually it leads to increased afterload, and we can observe the decreased cardiac output. Other than the vasoconstriction, it also shows the aldosterone secretion, where due to the secretion of the aldosterone, we can observe the retention of the salt and water. As a result of this salt and water retention, we can observe the fluid uptake. Means that is nothing but forming of the fluid is edema, and there is an increased plasma volume, and we can also see increased preload, and there it occurs a increased cardiac workload. So we can observe decreased cardiac output and increased cardiac workload, which together forms a heart failure. This is about the simple pathophysiology of the heart failure. If we go for the clinical manifestations, we can observe this is the left sided heart failure, and this is the right side heart failure. In left side heart failure, we can see restlessness, confusion, orthopnea, tachycardia, dyspnea, fatigue, cyanosis, and the especially nocturnal dyspnea, means that is during night time, And pulmonary congestion means nothing but it includes cough, wheezing, tachypnea, and bloody sputum. These are the left side heart failure manifestations. And what about the right sided heart failure means we call this right failure as a carpulmonal. We can also see fatigue, increased peripheral venous pressure, ascites, enlarged liver and spleen, and edema, weight gain, anorexia, and any other gastrointestinal complaints. And also we can also see distant jugular veins in this right side heart failure. And if we want to see about the diagnosis, if we go for the diagnosis, the first thing is we have to observe the patient history, means collection of the patient history. This may include the patient complete information about the whether the patient may be chronic alcohol or chronic smoker, any drug use, and previous history of any attacks or other diseases like hypertension, and what are the medications he include. So this is about the patient history. Okay, next one is physical examination. What we go for the physical examination means, first we have to look after the what is the main underlying cause of this attack, and we have to assess the patient condition, and we can detect the any abnormal heart sounds in case present, which indicates a narrowing the wall, and we can also detect the fluid accumulation in the lungs. And doctor may also look for the enlarged veins in the neck, that is nothing but jugular veins. I already told that distended jugular veins we can also observe for that, and there is a swelling which is nothing but edema in the legs. And the next one is ECG. We know that it is used to measure the electrical activity in the heart. And echocardiogram means which we call this as a echo test. Simply it is a small ultrasound examination of the heart which produces the means it shows the detailed images of the organ, and it is used to detect any abnormalities in the structure of the heart, and we use this to measure the ejection fraction. I think everyone is fame of that ejection fraction. So by using echo we can detect the EF. And cardiac catheterization. Why we'll use this means, simply this is used to perform to recognize whether the patient is having means if a patient, for example, if a patient is presenting with angina, and patient is having a history of heart attack, so in that case it is used to determine if the if this coronary heart disease is causing heart failure or not, means whether already patient is having some other heart disease, now he came with the congestive cardiac failure, heart failure. This cardiac catheterization is used to determine whether this heart failure is due to this some presented cardiac disease. So this is about the cardiac catheterization. And stress test or exercise test, let me explain about this. What will happen in this test means, simply we'll allow the patient to walk on a treadmill. I think everyone is well known about treadmill. So we'll allow the patient to walk on treadmill. Meanwhile we'll connect that patient to the ECG. So by this process we can measure the patient electrical activity of the heart. So this we call that as a stress test or exercise test. And MRI, everyone is well known about this, which provides images of the structure of heart, and it can also shows the ability to pump blood to the body. And X-ray, it is useful to determine the any fluids in the lung, and it also usually we can also see the any enlargement in the congestive heart failure, and that can be visible on the X-ray. And why blood tests are done means, this blood test means to identify any differences in the complete blood count, that is anemia or RBC count or WBC, means abnormalities. Means why we'll check this, means this may be any symptoms of heart failure, or and we can also find out the electrolytes, means abnormalities, sodium, potassium, magnesium, and any other abnormalities in the electrolytes. Because especially if the patient is treated with the diuretics, we have to know whether if patient is treating with the diuretics, he or she is having any kidney damage or disease, so means related to this, and we have to go for the kidney function test later. And if you see the treatment, here we can see best mnemonics to remember this, that is upload fast, means which includes a management or prevention or modifications, etc. First unload, here it's unload fast, that is upright position, nitrates, Lasix, oxygen, AC inhibitors, digoxin. And fast includes the fluids, afterload, sodium retention, and test includes digoxin level, whether if in case the patient is receiving digoxin, and potassium levels, which may leads to tachycardia or etc. abnormal heart rhythms. So this is about the treatment. And if you go for the medications, means some of the drugs which are used to treat the congestive heart failure, means before going to that, what is these drugs used? For example, if you go for AC inhibitors, why these are used, like enalapril or lisinopril? What is the choice of our drug? Means this choice of the drug treatment is depending upon the patient with this heart failure. Generally what these AC inhibitors do means it promotes the dilation of the blood vessels, and this improves the blood flow, and also it helps in slowing the progression of the disease, means it slows down the progression of the disease and it improves the blood flow. So we'll prefer this AC inhibitors. In that, based on the condition, we can prefer the selected drug, that is enalapril or lisinopril, etc. And diuretics, if you go for the diuretics or inotropic agents, that is nothing but generally why diuretics is used means to reduce the fluid buildup, that is to decrease the edema. And digoxin, inotropic agents like digoxin is used to strengthen the heartbeat, means generally patients may have decreased pumping capacity, means heartbeat will be reduced when compared to us. So to protect or to give support to the patients, digoxin will be useful. So some diuretics will be useful for the means protective agents. If you go for the beta blockers, these drugs can decrease the workload of the heart, like beta blockers like metoprolol, carvedilol, bisoprolol. These drugs will decrease the workload on the heart. So the next one is this is the calcium channel blockers like nifedipine, diltiazem, verapamil, etc. Okay, so as I told you, these are the drugs used to treat the congestive heart failure. And what are the surgical management involved in this congestive cardiac failure means? The first one is CABG surgery. Is it clear? CABG means coronary artery bypass graft, nothing but CABG, coronary artery bypass graft. Why this surgery will be done means, it is nothing but here it involves means we'll use a blood vessel which is used to graft, means a blood vessel graft to bypass, means a bypass is done to one or more blocked coronary arteries. This bypass, what will bypass will do means this restores a normal blood flow to the heart muscles, means from the blocked coronary arteries, by using this bypass it will restore the normal functioning, means normal blood flow. and these blood vessel grafts usually come from, we can take it from our own arteries or veins in the chest or legs or arms. So this is about the CABG surgery. And what is coronary angioplasty? It is nothing but it is a small procedure which is used to widen the blocked or narrowed coronary arteries. Means we can widen the coronary arteries, and here this angioplasty means we already know that it will means using a balloon to stretch the means by stretching the we can open up a blocked arteries. And the third one is implantable cardiac defibrillator. It is a small device which is placed in the chest or abdomen. It is help to treat the irregular heartbeats. Means we can correct the arrhythmias. And the intra-aortic balloon pump, we can call it this as IABP. It is a device, means a mechanical device which increases the myocardial oxygen perfusion, and at the same time it also increases the cardiac output. So means it increases the oxygen delivery to the heart. And left ventricular assist device, we can call this as LVAD. It is a mechanical pump that is implanted inside a person's chest. Means this pump is implanted inside a chest to help a weakened heart. Means like supporting. Means the ventricle pump here the weakened heart ventricle pump blood throughout the body. And this pacemaker and heart transplantations are the last preferences. These are the latest means advanced technologies which were used based on the patient's condition. Okay, that's all about the congestive cardiac failure.